As a 19-year-old college student, making money sometimes can be very difficult because, on top of homework and other activities, no kid just has time to work a full time job. At first, I was working a minimum wage job and I was making okay money for the amount of hours that I was working, but after I got a restaurant job, this really closed the deal for me. It's important when going into serving as a waitress or a waiter that you know exactly what you're doing and make sure that you have the right materials. So the first things first on the material list is you're going to want to make sure that you have a notepad and a pen handy at all times. Unless the restaurant has a handheld POS system, a notepad is going to be your friend. This is because a lot of customers have dietary restrictions or allergies that they need to make sure you're making their food correctly, so that's why writing it down is essential. If you're someone like me and you don't have the best memory, writing things down can make your job a whole lot easier. You won't be walking around thinking, what am I forgetting? The next thing you're going to need on the material list is a pair of black non-slip shoes. Now, you can get these at Walmart or Amazon. Preferably restaurants like them in black, but it doesn't really matter. This is because when you're in the back and say somebody just mopped, you will slip. Restaurant floors can be extremely greasy, and that's why they want you to have non-slip shoes. Oftentimes you're carrying heavy dishes or you're running around, and they just want to ensure that you're going to be safe at all times. With the non-slip shoe, what I recommend personally is to get inserts in the shoes. Inserts provide support and cushion for your feet, and it provides a natural arch for your feet as well, which is really good when you're on your feet all day, especially if you're someone who likes to work a lot on the weekends. If you're working a double, you will be running around a lot, you will be exhausted, and that's why I recommend having inserts for your shoes. Another thing you need on the material list is a good hair tie. If your hair is my length or longer, typically the restaurant will want you to put it up. And this is because hair can be a biohazard and actually has pathogens and bacteria in it that you just don't want getting in other people's food. I know I wouldn't want it in my food, so I do that out of respect for my customers, and I put my hair up when I go to work as well. The last thing on the material list is a good attitude. You want to make sure you're coming into work every day with a good attitude, even if you have to fake it until you make it. The first waitresses were in the 1620s, and their main purpose was to serve the spirits of their patrons, and that's what they were passionate about, and that's what I like to think about when I'm going to work as well. When you get a table, when you get sat, it's usually typical to greet them within 2 minutes. I like to make sure that I'm going over to them saying something like, "Hi, my name is Riley. I'll be taking care of you guys today. What can I get you started to drink?" And if they know what they'd like to drink, then you can go run and get that real quick and bring it right out back to them. Typically, when I come back to the table, I say, if you guys still need a couple more minutes to decide on some food, I can do that for you. Otherwise, I can put your food in now. And that's up to them, whatever they want to do. But aside from that, after they've already ordered their food and they've already gotten their food, another thing I like to make sure that I'm doing for my table is checking their drinks. I don't like to come up to a table and I can tell that their drink has been gone for a while. I like to, if I can see the drink in my peripheral, and just go grab one and bring it over to them without them even having to ask, that is ideal. And always check on your tables, especially after they get their food. Ask if everything was okay. Ask if there's anything else that you can get them, any sauce, anything else to drink. And then at the end, you're going to want to definitely try to upsell. So ask if they want desserts, ask if they're having one more round, if they're drinking, all that stuff. Because not only do you want them to have a good time, but you want to rack up that bill so that you can get a high tip for yourself as well. So really both people are winning in these situations. And yeah, those are the tips I have on being a good server. Another thing is when a table wants to close out, just make sure that you're telling them that you hope you see them again, that you hope they have a great rest of their day, etc. Just because you want them coming back, and maybe next time they'll even request you as their server. And if you know them, the more likely they will be to tip you higher, and it's just good for everybody. And yeah, those are my tips on being a good waitress. It definitely is not easy at first. It takes a little bit of time to get used to it. Takes time to get used to that running around and that having to remember things all the time, but it is definitely worth it. I make almost double now what I've made working at a minimum wage job just from other people tipping me from my service. So yeah.